Well, we had a good night's sleep here in Bethlehem, and I just wanted to show a daytime view of the view from our room, and it's really neat, and we're looking forward to a really great day of touring, and the video will follow soon. Another view of our scenery from the third floor deck. It's very cold this morning, must be in the 50s, and there's a wind. Kind of wishing I brought a heavier jacket. Another view of the restaurants in the daylight. More shots of the exterior of our hotel in the daytime. And yet another view. I think we're in this tower here. Everybody's heading towards the bus. It's getting to be about that time. Shot of our hotel in the daytime here. The exterior of the palace. I believe this used to be a private home. This was the first part of the hotel, and then of course they built 2 or 3 towers out back, and we're in one of the towers. Here's our bus. We got a new bus. We had a little mishap last night with the back window. Everything's good now. Okay, getting ready to leave for the day.
Yep. Today we're going to have a great day. From the weather report, it looks like today is really going to be probably our chilliest day. That they were grateful for or saw the hand, and yes, well, yes ma'am.
This morning as I was trying...
No, if you're going to share, you have to come forward.
Oh, okay. And so
this is one of my sheep, and you can see already no respect. What it must have been like in the first century. So let's make that the focus of our prayer time this morning. And then they respect you.
Thomas! Our co-tour host. Peace in the Lord, thou hast my sons by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence I find.
good.
A beautiful partnership, or the ending of a great partnership.
Manger Square Hotel up there.
So it's between, well, so for that.
Sheeps and goats.
Sheep and goats in the Bible always are herded together and separated for food and for wool.
Town of the Shepherd's Field.
That is left with almost 80% Christians.
80%.
So this is where I live. My ancestors, all of my ancestors, as far as I know, they all lived in this town. Also, we call them the fields of Ruth and Boaz.
Shepherd's Fields.
The meeting between Ruth and Boaz, the love meeting between Ruth and Boaz, took place at this land that you see to the right. It's very expensive to build these fields because they're on no bedrocks here. You have to dig. I mean, you know, it costs. I mean, it's much cheaper to build on rocks than build on dirt like this. So it will cost way much more to build here. So this is another reason why people did not build here in the old days. You cannot really. It's not very smart as this is the Bible to build your not to build your
Foundation.
home house on a rock, because if it's just like if it's left, yes, left, it's too early for me. Think you can tell. This is a part of the fence that Israel built around Palestinian cities in the West Bank. I'll tell you about it later. Okay? But this is kind of connects with the wall that you saw yesterday. These wires, actually that's electrical fence. And wires
Electrical fence.
prevent people from Bethlehem to go to Jerusalem or to the land that you may see to the left. So, see, look to the right, you can see the shepherd, and you will see lots of shepherds in the next couple of days to Bethlehem, and the donor was one man from Korea. He donated, I don't know how many $1 million to build that school that you see to the right, or you can see to the right and maybe in the middle. No, it's actually there, that one you see. It's called the Bethlehem Evangelical Academy.
Christian
Bethlehem
school.
Evangelical Academy. When we get to the site, I'm giving you whispers, and this is a kind of device that you could have the whole trip.
Limestone.
Always the surface of limestone, or the surface of the mountains got the soft limestones. But when you dig further down, the stones become harder, and this is what people will get. I mean, this is what all of these stones that you saw covering our houses, they are limestones. That mountain there, that's Herodian, and that's
Herodian.
the summer palace of Herod the Great. That's a man-made mountain. It was
Man-made
built up
mountain.
like this, and it's a very interesting structure because as a man-made thing, this is probably the only thing that you could see left as it is almost from outside as it was at the time of Jesus this way.
Wow.
So when Jesus was visiting Bethlehem or Jerusalem, you would see exactly what you see to the left. You would see that palace. Now, look to the left side of the mountain. You see this lower hill, okay, with the flat top, just this little one. When Herodian was built, the slaves who built Herodian and the laborers took stones and dirt from the mountain next to it, okay, to build Herodian. So what happened? That the mountain was moved. So here I remind you of what Jesus said. He said, if you have a little faith as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Jesus was Jesus was telling about something that happened in history. We belong to the palace of Herod the Great.
Wow.
So this is where Herod would come and swim. And around here they found lots of buildings probably were used by his soldiers and by his friends who lived around him.
They found 3 ancient Sweden.
Fossilized.
Now, about the parable or
You don't need one.
teaching of
Maybe on this bus, but you didn't need one before.
You can move mountains. You will realize that everything that Jesus said is related to what, like the people's experience in this land, and everything is related to what's in here, like what's on the ground. You see a very beautiful view toward the Judean wilderness. is the Judean wilderness, and actually
Judean wilderness there.
You can see now the Dead Sea between the mountains. There's you can see that surface.
Oh, Dead Sea right there.
That is the Dead Sea, and that is the lowest point on Earth. That point is almost 1,300 feet below sea level.
Wow, lowest point on Earth.
Let's do this. Let's pull this.
Yes, there's a earpiece. There's a headphone. Okay. From there, you can go all the way up. There are like several steps, and some of these steps are right. So you have to be ready the one who ordered killed the innocent in Bethlehem. Walls 2,000 years ago, and they built this mountain, and all of it there, all of the stones that are years.
Discovered 4 years ago. This was only discovered about 7 years ago.
This spot where that jewel was found. So we're gonna go. There are over 40 steps to get there.
Dead Sea over there.
This is the location where they found the tomb I think 6,000 years ago or 7,000 years ago. They were facing east, and expected that Herod would be buried on the eastern side of the mountain.
Tomb of Herod.
And until today, they could not figure out why his tomb is here, not on the other side. So like all of the digs that they found before were focused on the eastern side of the mountain, not on another side of the mountain. So all of these things, all of these excavations, structures, everything that you see is original. Like the walls there are original, the wall behind is original, everything is original.
Sam, the black line.
Yeah, usually
The black line.
Well, yeah, the whole thing there is reconstruction, but the black line is to show, usually the black line tells you what is original and what was reconstructed, but that black line is to tell us that they found that little foundation of that shrine.
It's right here.
All right?
That's right here.
So, yeah. Now, take pictures and follow me down. We're going to go back to the tunnel.
That's a model. That's a model that they think might have been here. And that black. Oh, it gets better as it goes on.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet they did.
There's debate about cardio.
renovation.
To rule over this land, or he convinced him to appoint him as a king. And to appoint him as a king, like he told Augustus and the Senate that he is probably the only man who can make the Jews pay taxes for him. Okay?
Oh, it looks like they're really working in here. Look.
Yeah, still doing work. Water cistern area.
Steps are through there.
Those look like original.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
They come down the steps to get the water.
Is this the cistern?
Well, I mean, in this group, people, I'm not gonna lie.
They had to dig all this out.
To the best little 2-point chart.
You think it's the best? Let Wes get
in front of you.
Anytime you see blood on the ceiling, you can
Oh, even I bumped that one. When we trail ride, we always let somebody, like a bigger horse in front of you. All
This is one of the retaining walls.
Anyone behind?
More steps up ahead. I hope that's daylight.
Is it as hard? Oh, no.
That's why I said don't ask questions. College or destination for a lot of folks. That's why.
Water shaft starts right there. And we see daylight coming here. Okay, we made it to the top. This was a synagogue. There's Bethlehem. There's Bethlehem over in this area. Jerusalem.
These are the towers on the Mount of Olives. Just opposite to the left is the old city of Jerusalem. Now Herod built here for many. Herod built here for many reasons. From an ancient town, that's a town called Hooka.
Herod built this mountain because it was higher than Jerusalem, and it could look over Jerusalem and Bethlehem from here. And another shot of the Dead Sea. From up here, he could see all over the place from here. These two know each other from way back.
Oh, John and Michael.
Right.
Yeah, that's very cool. This is kind of how I pictured the terrain.
Yeah, me too.
That shows Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane is praying on the rock, and there's a big thistle beside him. When you see the thistle in that kind of artwork, it represents his redemptive work that has restored us after the fall.
Oh.
Some people ask me about water here. Our main water comes from underground. Actually, where we are, there is the largest water reservoir. It is the second largest after the Lake of Galilee. So all of the water that we use for drinking, for industry, for agriculture, all come from under here. Next we're gonna go to the Shepherd's Field.
Sarah lives here.
Your experience this morning will be street vendors all over the places.
On the bus, again, it doesn't necessarily mean we're vouching for it, but sometimes we know when it's a good buy, a bunch of pashmina scarves you can divide up, or things you can get that you can.
Echo in there to be real sweet. Only one verse though.
We're going to Shepherd's
You
Fields.
can sing Shepherd's Wine this Jubilee. Yeah. What the glass of wine is for. Which inspired.
It's not as fertile, it's not as beautiful as, like for me, like Italy is way much more beautiful than the Holy Land. Greece is more beautiful. Lebanon, have you been to Lebanon? It's paradise there in comparison to what we got here. So it's not really about, it's not about the nature of the land. The most important thing about this land is the location of the land. This land, if you look at the map, by the way, I have maps in the bus that I forgot to give to you, but I will. When you look at the regional map, you'll see that the only connection, or the only land bridge that connects Asia with Africa is this land. Now, this land was occupied by many nations because of that reason, because everyone wanted to control the trade road. And blue eyes, black eyes, different face character, this is how we are because we are a mixture. Now, the people remember its value. You see ruins of the church. Churches here were destroyed many times.
5th century
because
church.
of wars and invasions. So just I give you some of important dates. In 529, Samaritans destroyed churches in all over the Middle East and destroyed them, different years. Now, here they found ruins of 5th century church. Now, you see mosaic. But the most interesting thing about these drawings is that you see that hole under that ceiling. That's a mikveh. That's a Jewish ritual bath. Now, they found here that this was my actually, my ancestors belonged to this town. So my ancestors were Jews who converted At that time they were called Judeo-Christians. And being Judeo-Christian is different than Messianic Jew. Very different. Adults wanted to get baptized, they used to stay in darkness, in a cave, in a dark cave for 3 days and 3 nights, and that represents death. And then they will come out, okay, into light, see the water again for a new life. I've been to Algeria. This is a natural cave, and there are more natural caves around here. And we think that these are the caves, or the traditional caves, where the shepherds were when the angels appeared to them. Now, and I always like to remind people that Jesus did not come to make stones holy, but he came to make people holy. And these sites are holy because for hundreds of years Christians worshipped at these sites. Okay, so these are holy sites, and very special sites for local Christians and for all Christians around the world. Sheep shepherds could bring their sheep and goats to the fields, but the rest of the year, no. They have to stay out of town. Shepherds who usually worked for rich people took the flock into the wilderness. Usually one shepherd lead the flock, and at night, shepherds coordinate with each other to meet in a certain place to spend the night together for safety, for safety.
Have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains.
The ceiling's black because of thousands of years of candles being burned in here.
Bruce took a bribe to take that.
Some artifacts found around here.
You just made memorial.
It's all right. This church was built in 1950 with an Italian architect. This is where the angels talk to the shepherds. Peace on earth, mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled.
Christ is born in Bethlehem.
guy who did this?
Pablo.
Very good.